Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. A very warm welcome to Meet Menaca, episode 64. Today, we are going to be discussing the role of Ayurveda in well-being with Khyati, Komil, Chheda. Firstly, I have an apology to make for people who are joining us from different time zones, Canada, America, Sri Lanka, India. We didn't announce the time change last time. It's a mistake on my part. This is the time which is going to be happening. For people who are joining us from Sri Lanka and India, it would be 7:30 in the evening. So please take note of the change from going forward. About Meet Menaca a little bit. It features real people sharing real stories and health experts and sharing tips about health. It's a vibrant 90-minute multicultural online talk show mainly created to celebrate you. It's a free event. You can register and join us with the links we share on social media and in our WhatsApp groups and in our emails. Please support us to add value to others and spread these messages far and wide by sharing these messages. Coming back to today's show, let me tell a little bit about Khyati, Komil, Chheda. Her quote was, I believe Ayurveda is a lifelong learning. Every time it gives us a different perspective. So this is her philosophy, which she incorporates into her daily life. And it ties directly back to how she studied. Khyati, Komil, Chheda gained her degree in Ayurveda at Pune, where Ayurveda is incorporated extensively into the daily life. Opening her mind and seizing the opportunity to learn from experts, she studied under various Ayurvedic practitioners, gaining insights and practical experience into different forms of Ayurveda. Firmly believing that she practices what she preaches, when she relocated to the UK, Khyati studied closely the various aspects of life by paying close attention to the culture, food, lifestyle, and climate. She gained a deep understanding of the challenges and how Ayurveda could help. Consequently, she has successfully treated allergies, skin conditions, asthma, autism, musculoskeletal conditions, infertility, menstrual and menopausal difficulties. Appearing on TV talk shows and speaking at events, Khyati is passionate about educating everyone on the benefits of Ayurveda. Currently practicing at Shashwat Ayurveda UK, she is focused on increasing health awareness in women. To add to all this, I must say, I met Khyati around 5 to 6 years back, and she definitely helped me with my health, in particular with asthma. After being treated by Khyati, I didn't have a single episode of asthma for 2 years. That's a long time for people who know my lifestyle and my way of living, really. So it does give great benefit, and this is a practitioner I can endorse myself personally. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on board, Khyati. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Menaca. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. To be on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. I thought we will start by talking about Ayurveda a bit. So the saying goes, a well-lived day is a medicine unto itself, by Acharya Shunya. So originating in India more than 3,000 years ago, Ayurveda is a natural system of medicine. It's derived from Sanskrit word Ayur means life and Veda means science and knowledge, which translate to knowledge of life. Based on the idea that disease is caused by an imbalance or stress in a person's consciousness, Ayurveda encourages specific lifestyle changes and natural therapies to regain a balance between the body, mind, and spirit and the environment. Knowing this, I can't wait to hear more from Khyati to see how we all can change and benefit to improve our health, our mind, our body, and our spirit. Firstly, can we begin by asking, can you briefly give an overview about Ayurveda and how can it help with general well-being, Khyati?
Thank you for the question, Menaca. It's a very nice question about like how to understand what is Ayurveda. People generally have different views about Ayurveda, and some just basically think of it as a herbal medicine kind of a stream of practice. Some people think that Ayurveda is mainly just massages and all. But as you rightly pointed out, Menaka, Ayurveda is Ayusho Vedaha. It's made up of those two words. Like it literally means the science of life. And it is how you live your life, how you need to take care of yourself day to day practices, and how to kind of stay in sync with nature. That is the main aim of Ayurveda. So, aim of Ayurveda, as I'll just quote a saying from Sanskrit, it says, Swasthasya swasthya samrakshanam, aturasya vikar prashamanam. I'll explain it. Don't worry about all the Sanskrit terminologies. But the main aim of Ayurveda is swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. That is maintaining the good health of an individual. It is maintaining a lifestyle which is healthy for an individual. And if for some reason, if you fall ill or if you have a problem, then you kind of treat the disease. But maintaining that important health of an individual is the key to it. For all of that, we need to understand the rhythm of nature, your body, how your body is connected to nature, how you need to live in sync or in harmony with nature. To understand these, Ayurveda has set as a few guidelines. It's like how to follow a daily routine, which comes under the topic, namely Dinacharya. Dinacharya doesn't mean just how to live during the day. It is like during the entire day and night cycle, how you kind of, right from getting up to how to sleep, all of that is covered in Dinacharya. Then we have the next cycle that we see in nature is the cycle of seasons. So you have like how the season, how each season changes, and you see the different effects of the elements in nature. So those elements have an effect on our system as well. So we have to kind of adapt to the changes that happen in nature. We have to change our diet, our lifestyle, our attire. Everything needs to change so as to help us maintain an equilibrium for us. So this comes under Ritucharya. So it is like how you are going to change your diet, your lifestyle, and adapt to the changes in the season. And it has to be at a micro and macro level. It is not just like you just change through it. As the season changes, you will go through it gradually. So you have to adapt and listen to nature and then adapt. After that, Ayurveda is based on like the three main pillars, that is diet, sleep, and brahmacharya. Ahar, nidra, and brahmacharya. So ahar is the food that we intake. We will talk about it in detail. So I'm just giving you an overview over here. Nidra will be the sleep pattern, how you need to sleep depending on what season, your age, your lifestyle. And brahmacharya, although you literally people think of it as celibacy, but it is not just celibacy. It is like Brahma means the eternal power, and to go close to the eternal power, the code of conduct that you need to follow, a certain lifestyle you need to follow would be under brahmacharya. Then there is, Ayurveda has really dealt in depth with a topic which is called as Sadvritta. Sadvritta means it's like a moral code of conduct. And it goes at different levels. So it is the ethical code of conduct will be like how to kind of live in a society, in a social setting, a mental code of conduct, social code of conduct will be there, moral code of conduct will be there, a physical code of conduct will be there. So it will be Sharirik, Manasik, Dharmic. All of those will be the different code of conduct. So how you would behave in a social setting. You kind of have to have a pleasant personality when you are in public. You how you would converse with people who are older than you, who are your peers, or even with children, you have to show that mutual respect. So all of those little nitty-gritties have been explained in depth in Ayurveda. So if we follow these, then it kind of builds up, gives us an emotional well-being. So you have that complete emotional balance that is there in an individual. Another
Sure.
topic, sorry, Menaca, just a couple more.
Sure.
So another topic which is very unique to Ayurveda, it is called as Vega Vidharan. Vague as in it's like your natural urges, that all of those will be Vegas, and Vidharan will be controlling. So Ayurveda emphasizes on the fact, and I really need to, this is something which I have been seeing lately a lot. So Ayurveda emphasizes on the fact that you need to control your natural urges, or you should kind of, which need to be controlled and which need to be not be controlled. So supposing if you need to defecate, or you need to urinate, or you are hungry, or you are sleepy, all of these are your natural urges, and you need to listen to your body and follow them properly. So if you do not follow them, then you will have various disruptions inside the system, and you will have the ill effects of those. Another two more concepts which Ayurveda is dealing with is a regular cleanse. So as per the seasonal changes, as per the balances in your body, there will be changes in you. And you need to kind of cleanse yourself regularly. So that is quite important. And lastly, it is a rejuvenation therapy, or Rasayana, as we call it, Rasayana Chikitsa. So this is something which, if you are a healthy individual, then you kind of need to rejuvenate your system on a regular basis. So for that, you would need to kind of have certain medicines or food or things which are beneficial for your system, and that will help build up your immunity, regenerate your tissues, keep you strong and healthy. So all of those would be like the major topics which I would say that for a person to be healthy, you need all these things. So these are topics which we will try and touch upon as we go through. Just giving a gist about how we need to think about in Ayurveda in terms of well-being.
Sure. Thank you, Khyati. So it's good to know broadly, when the word Ayurveda is mentioned by someone, including myself, the first thought which comes to my mind is it will be too restrictive, it will be too difficult. So how is that Ayurveda can help us in the modern world? Do you think that it is still applicable in the current lifestyle?
Yeah. Thank you for that question again, Menaca, because yeah, absolutely. That is actually the beauty of Ayurveda. It is that Ayurveda is Shashwat, as even if you know the name of my clinic, which I run, is also Shashwat. It means eternal, it means all encompassing. It's like the principles of Ayurveda are based on nature, and therefore it is something which does not change. They have stood the test of time for centuries, and they still hold true even today. How we apply those principles, how we understand those principles and bring them in our daily life is important. So as per Ayurveda, we have the 5 elements in nature, the earth, water, fire, wind, and ether. These 5 elements are present in your body in a miniature form. So you are like a miniature of the universe, is one of the key important principles of Ayurveda. And even when they have given an explanation for the definition of Ayurveda, so it is a very beautiful definition that Ayurveda has given. It says that when you have all the doshas, that is you may have heard about it. If you have not heard about it, I'll explain it to you. So it is about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So Vata is the wind element that is there in nature, or the wind factor that we see. So everything like a movement, for example, my hands that are moving, my eyes are moving, I'm talking, my food that I intake and it is going down and it is digesting. Every little movement that is taking place in your body is because of this one. So it is something which is going to give you the kind of the movement everywhere in the body. It is the major guiding force in your body. Then you have the Pitta, or the fire element that you see, the fire in nature. So just like the fire, it is something which is creating heat in the body, or it causes transformation. It can be transformation at different levels. Even a physical transformation will involve the Pitta in the body. And in metabolism, grossly, like people will relate to it much more, like whatever you eat or anything, and that whole digestive system is built on the Pitta, the fire element. And Kapha would be the earth and water. So it's kind of that cohesive factor that is there. It helps you, it nourishes you, it lubricates you. It is something which is really responsible for your structure, your physicality that is there. So these are the three main doshas, and they are the three main bioenergies in your body. When they are in equilibrium, and when they are in equilibrium, then there are other physical factors like the tissues that are present in your body. And then the fire, the digestive fire that is there, the Agni. Agni does not mean just the digestive fire. It is, Agni has different roles at different levels. So what we really understand would be like, okay, the digestive fire, but all the metabolism, all the changes which happen at cellular level, right from cellular level to tissue level, all the changes will be because of the Agni. So that is like the other element which is there. After that, the excretory system, all the excretory products, when they are in equilibrium, that is also important. So Ayurveda has taken all the physical aspects of your body. Then they have thought about when your sensory organs, that is the indriyas that are there in your body. So all the sensory organs are there. When your mind and when your emotions and when your soul too, all of that, when it is in equilibrium, that is when you will say that a person is healthy. So if you think of it that when you fulfill all these, that is when you will be healthy. And do you say that Ayurveda is still applicable? Then if you think of a person, say for example, Ayurveda will you may know it, Menaca, that Ayurveda advocates the use of warm water or boiled water in a big.
I only got to know after meeting you.
So yeah, I mean, having boiled water, and depending on the amount of water that you are having, all of that is important. So how is that applicable in your life is like just by boiling water. And when I mean boiling water, you kind of boil it, say if it's a liter of water, you would boil it to different levels. It would be like 3/4 or half a liter or more than that. And when you drink that water, that itself will act as a medicine for a lot of people who have got digestive problems. So like a very simple tip, but this is quite important for a lot of people. So for example, a person who is who's suffering from asthma or something like that, I would suggest them to have that boiled water. Or a person who's got digestive issues, they've got a lot of bloating. Even that little tip for them plays quite a huge role, even before the medicines go in. So it's a very small lifestyle change, and a lot of changes happen due to that. And the reason why we have boiled water, and especially when you are eating your meals or anything, that is the time when we encourage to have something which is nice, warm, definitely not cold. Is just like in nature, if there is a fire going on or a bonfire going on, and if you pour cold water over it, it kind of douses the fire. Similarly, if you kind of drink too much of cold water at any given point of time without listening to your body, you are not only impacting the way your digestive system works, but you are causing a lot of, you are welcoming a lot of ailments. So yeah, I mean, these are little things, little lifestyle changes, and you can see the impact in your life. So,
Sure.
yeah.
I mean, in a nutshell, what you're saying is it can fit into modern life. And because I still remember personally as well, when I went to Khyati first time and when she started talking to me, and I'm like, I have a busy schedule. It is going to be really hard to incorporate all that. So exactly this is what Khyati said. First thing, stop having cold water and start having warm water, one little change. And that, I can tell you, that one change is what I have carried on till today. I have definitely implemented this till date, and it has made a big difference. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Ayurveda, I guess, in a nutshell, it doesn't have to be that complicated. If you go to the right person, they could give you small tips which can really make a long-term effect. Thanks, Khyati.
That is the beauty of Ayurveda. And again, as we will go further into it, I will explain that depending on the season, also a lot of things change. So I wouldn't probably have a hot boiling water in summer. I may have boiled water, but I may not have it hot. But in winter, if I end up having it warm or hot, or towards the cold and flu season, or when you have the season changing, it really benefits a lot of people. So again, all those things, it is not like an all encompassing trip. It is something you have to incorporate depending on each and every individual. So you have to make those changes, really subtle changes, but depending on each individual.
I think it's like any part of medicine, isn't it? This is, you can't, it's not for everyone. You have to first have the proper diagnosis before you go for any kind of management or treatment.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the term dinacharya, a daily routine, which, a part of it was for me to have start having warm water. So can you elaborate on that and give us examples as to how it will help an individual remain healthy?
Well, Ayurveda has given a very elaborate explanation as to how a dinacharya should be right from the time you get up. So the time that you get up is also important. Ideally, it is called as Brahma Muhurta. So that will be like approximately, say, 1.5 hours before sunrise. Although a lot of people will raise their eyebrows when I tell them that. But having said that, the time that is there, it is the best time, especially for students and all. Nowadays, you find a lot of students who study late into the night, but it is the best time to kind of help you with your studies and all those things. Plus, it gives you a lot of additional time. You kind of find it that, oh, yeah, I've actually got a lot of time for myself to do things before I go on. So, yeah. Although it is difficult, I ask people to, okay, you can't get up, say, if a person comes to me where I get up at, say, 8 o'clock, I'll say, okay, no problem. We'll start with 15 minutes per week and go down to as close as possible. And believe me, it is very small change, but a lot of people can adapt to that change very easily. Just by going, shifting their time by 15 minutes, it goes a very long way. So that is the first thing that Ayurveda says. So getting up after that, like all of us do, like brushing our teeth and all that. So Dantadhavan, as Ayurveda says, where we kind of cleaning up our teeth, is an important aspect that is may not be practiced as much today, but is very beneficial because the special herbs or the trees that they have mentioned, all of those are quite good for the oral hygiene. So they kind of help strengthen your gums and your teeth. So if you gravitate towards that, then it is helpful. That is one aspect. But the other aspect is even when you kind of put the medicine and in your mouth, it is absorbed, and a lot of it may be beneficial for your digestive system. So that is the first and foremost medicine.
You definitely become the best friend for dentists.
Yeah. And that is the first best thing that we do. Then is cleaning your tongue. A lot of people don't do it nowadays, but cleaning the tongue is quite important so that all the bacteria or all the residue that is collected overnight is cleaned up. and it is quite important so you get a good taste in your mouth to kind of enjoy your food. So that is there. Next, it is said a lot of the other practices are like applying anjana. Anjana is a medicine. There are different preparations. So again, depending on every individual, it will change. But it is something to put in your eyes. Then is nasya. Nasya is like you put drops into your nostril. So all of these are very important in a sense that Anjan helps with your vision. It helps with clearing up your vision. A lot of people nowadays, in fact, kids have like spectacles at very young age, and that is because we have lost touch from all these little things, which would otherwise help us maintain our good health. Nasya again is something which is helpful for your nasal passage, and it helps clear them up. Depending on how each individual is, you will change. The medicines and everything will change. I'm just giving you the gross examples of things that are used, because medicines per individual, it will change. Everything's for an individual will change. Some people may benefit with it. Some people are actually prohibited from it. So depending on who that person is, those things will be there. And so that is there. And then there is something called as dhumam. Dhumam is like you inhale the smoke that is there through the nose, and it helps clear up the nasal passages, especially in winter, and when you have like the cold and flu season and you have a clogged nose and all. There are certain herbs which, if you take the dhumam of that, it will help clear up the passages. So a lot of people will benefit from that. Another thing which comes in Dinacharya is Abhyanga. And Abhyanga is my favorite topic, to be very honest. It is something which I believe everyone should do on a regular basis. So having said all the other things, all of that, people say that where would you find the time? So if you get up early, you would find the time for that. It really takes, it's a matter of 5-10 minutes. It's not like a very long time that you need to do all of these things. It's a matter of just 10 minutes extra. Abhyanga, if you have the time, Abhyanga is applying oil all over your body. So body, your skin being the largest organ in the body, it kind of needs to be taken care of. And with Abhyanga, it helps. You are applying the oil externally all over your body. And how you do it also is it is like as a general rule, you would do it towards the heart. So opposite to the your pores towards the heart, so that it is absorbed nicely. The oil is absorbed nicely, and you will really see a remarkable difference. A person who is doing Abhyanga daily, you will see that that person ages really slowly. A person who's been doing it on a regular basis, you'll see the luster on their skin is absolutely amazing. And they will have a very good sleep. They will have like all the joints and everything will be really strong. The muscles really look strong. It is kind of a person who is doing Abhyanga, you can actually see, oh wow, this person's got a very well proportioned body. And that is one of the real benefits of that. So lately we see a lot of people have a lot of joint pains and all. So this is something which a regular Abhyanga would help. So that is something which can be beneficial. So again, Abhyanga, if you can't do the full version of it, I ask people, okay, if you don't have the time to do everything every day, no problem. At least your head, the crown of your head, at least put a little bit of oil over there. At least your ears and your feet. If you have the time to do more, then from your feet to the knees, at least do that much. And once you've done that, then you progress onto your exercise. Ayurveda definitely highlights the fact that you need to exercise daily. It's not something like you choose 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Sorry. But yeah, people just say, oh yeah, I did 2 days a week. But I'm like, but we eat 7 days a week. So why not exercise all 7 days a week? It has to be, how much exercise is also important, but the real key benefits of exercising would be it gives you enthusiasm. And there is not just the physical aspect of it, there is a mental aspect of it as well. So even with Abhyanga, even with exercise, all of them give you a good mental aspect of it, is that it makes your mind appreciative, it makes you alert, it makes you healthy. So a lot of the mental health problems can be kept at bay, but by just following this little thing. But it is really important. The added advantage of exercising is obviously you lose weight or you maintain your weight. So that is there. And the main advantage of exercising is that the three doshas that I explained earlier, the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, it helps manage them. It helps keep them in equilibrium all throughout. So yes, exercise. And that is how, this is the way in they want you to do your exercise. And once you have exercised, you kind of settle down, you massage yourself. And there is something called as Udvartan. Udvartan is like you have herbs or powder to kind of apply to your body and then have a shower. So just by doing Udvartan, a lot of the skin conditions can be taken care of. A lot of the, just by doing these little things, but a lot of the skin conditions or dry skin conditions and all that can be taken care of. When we are doing Udvartana, if you have a skin condition, then we would select herbs or medicines that would be beneficial for you in that manner. And then we would do it. And otherwise, for general population, you could, you have like, a lot of people use the yellow lentil, the chana dal powder or the red lentil powder. And you can add, say, turmeric to it or saffron to it. If you do that in the winters, then it kind of gives you heat as well in the body. So these little things, how you do it would help you. And after that, you have snana. Sorry, I missed out oil pulling. Someone mentioned it over here. So yes, Gandusha is there. Definitely it is there. After the Dant Dhawan, and that is oil pulling that is there. It is again beneficial to help with the oral hygiene and maintain the strength of your muscles and the gums and all that. And lastly, but not the least, is having a bath. Ayurveda definitely advocates the importance of having a bath at the beginning of your day, especially, so that it gives you the energy. It helps you feel active, energetic. It helps you with your digestion. After a bath, you will always feel hungry, and that really helps. So that is important. It gives you strength as well. Just by having a hot shower, a person kind of feels relaxed as well. So that is quite important. One thing which is really important is, before we get into all of this, when we start our day, we need to focus on the fact that whether we have a bowel movement or not, which is very important. So when we start our day, if we have had a good digestive, like our food is well digested, and if we have had a good bowel movement, then all of these would follow easily. But if supposing you feel uneasy, or if you feel lethargic, or if you feel that you have not digested your meal, then Ayurveda would also say that, okay, you kind of need to rest for a little bit, give yourself that time before you get up. So that little tip of listening to your body at the beginning of the day is very important. So yeah, all of this would kind of encompass it, it will be like a part of a dinacharya. Once you have done all of this, then comes the food and all that. So that would be the dinacharya routine.
Thanks, Khyati. It was very comprehensive. I have a lot of questions, and I know that we always run against time when we have a good speaker. So I'm going to go straight to the next question. You also mentioned Ritucharya, that you explained as adapting to seasonal changes. So can you give some examples of what changes can be made to adapt, for example, to current upcoming season like autumn or winter?
Yeah, sure. So Ritucharya, as I explained, was another change that we see in the season. And depending on the season, how we would adapt to the changes. So as we know, depending on the movement of the sun towards the northern and southern hemisphere, that is where it impacts the seasons. So that is how you have got your whole cycle of seasons. So now we really need to understand that Ayurveda comes from India, and India has got 6 seasons, which we don't really clearly see over here in the West. We would probably see a summer if we are lucky, autumn, winter, and spring. These are the 4 seasons that we will generally see over here. But in India, depending on which part, you will at least see those seasons. You'll have like 6 seasons over there. You'll have like a spring, a summer, a rainy season. Then you'll have autumn, winter, and spring. So you will have all of those 6 seasons in India. So depending, since we are over here, we have to understand that, okay, on the location that you are in, how it is going to change. So when we have the movement of the sun towards the north, it is called as Uttarayan. And when you have the movement of the sun that is towards the south, then it is called as Dakshinayam. So Uttarayan is when you have the, because the sun is coming towards the north, if you look at sun, it is like fire. It is that energy, that is heat energy that is there. So what happens when you have fire is you kind of, it absorbs everything out of you. It sucks out all your energy. So similar to that, you have like the fire element will increase. Because of that, there will be like a dryness. It will be kind of taking away all of that, not only from the earth, also from the individual. So it is kind of sucking out the energy from you. And typically it will be like a season which will be like, or say, like late winter, and spring and summer, kind of that kind of a thing, wherein you will see this, that because of that, you will have the energy being sucked out of you, and the body will be like, you have to change according to that. So now in autumn that we see, if a typical autumn would be like, it will be cold, it will be wet, it will be windy. So you will have an increase in the cold dryness that is there. That is, it is kind of sucking out those things. So a typical seasonal change that you need to incorporate over here would be taking foods that are nice, warming, earthy, so that it balances out that element. So you would look at everything around nature, and nature gives you the answer for it. So you will have all the pumpkins and all that in this season. You will have a lot of vegetables which have the earth element. They are like, they have their own water and earth element into them. And those will be the vegetables, the food that you would gravitate towards naturally. And this is something which will help you with your system. At the same time, you will have a good digestion will also improve, because as you go into winter. So with the improvement in digestion, it is a good time to build up and have all of those locally grown, sourced vegetables and fruits and all that. And that will really help you. Another thing which I emphasized was the Abhyanga. Abhyanga this is definitely the time to do it. So Abhyanga, your exercise, this is a time to kind of do it, the exercise, because your energy is at the most. So you will kind of do that exercise at this point of time. And slowly you're in, at the most, it is in a cyclic pattern. So you have your energy at the peak now, and slowly as you go down into the seasons, as the season will change, it will kind of go down, it will dip. But at the moment, it is at a tip. Yeah. So because of that, this is a time where you will capitalize on that, and you will exercise. You will do your exercise. So winter, late autumn, winter and spring is a time when you would really exercise. Unfortunately, here in the UK, you will find people doing it the opposite way. So you will have a lot of people getting out in the summers when you will be like, your body will say, no, I can't do it, let me just take a rest, but we will probably pull ourselves and go out and do it. But this is actually the time when, if you are in the Indian subcontinent, you will feel more energetic and you will want to do your exercise more in the winters. And this will be a time when you will capitalize on that, exercise more, eat well. This is definitely not a time to diet. So if you are thinking, let me kind of have the food, but immediately after Christmas, I will stop eating all of that and I will go on a crash diet. No, it really doesn't help you, because this is a time when you really need to capitalize on that. As you go deeper into winter, the dryness actually increases. And then you will have joints and all that problems if you do not take care of it. So if you do your abhyangas regularly, if you do your massages regularly, if you take a hot bath, and I mean bath as in sitting in the tub bath, that will really help you in this season. It will kind of help your body, and you will have less of joint pains and all those things. So these will be the things that will kind of help you with this season, current season. As you go further into spring, it will be like, because because of the food and everything that you have had, there will be a buildup of the phlegm and all that. So again, at that point of time, your diet will have to change and you will have to slowly adapt, because as you go into spring, you will see the sun kind of helping with, it will kind of help, it gets stronger and it helps melt down the ice. Similarly, in your system, it will help melt down the kapha, the phlegm will start coming out and all. That is the time when you will kind of adapt, change your diet, and slowly go down. Ayurveda has mentioned, like, as the season changes, it is called as a union or a sandhi. That is a Ratu Sandhi. That is, a previous season is ending and the new season is coming up. That is the time when you really need to be careful about a lot of things, because that is the time when you will have a lot of the allergies and everything coming up. You will have the flu and all those things. So how you kind of take care of yourself at this junction is really important for the next whole season for you. So yeah.
You mentioned the 3 pillars according to Ayurveda. Can you give us an insight into them? Might be not as comprehensively, but at least as much as you can.
I will try my best. Thank you. So yeah, the 3 pillars that we have is Ahar, Nidra, and Brahmacharya. I've already given a brief about it, but Ahar is, we are literally what we eat. So whatever we eat is going to affect the doshas in the body. It will affect our digestive system. It will affect our mind. So it will have an effect on each and every aspect of our life. Depending on the food that we eat, it will give us mental and physical strength. It will give the tissues the strength. It will give us good complexion. It will kind of give us the happiness. Like food is like, it will make you happy if it is something that you enjoy, and then it will impact your mental health as well. It is something which will give you satisfaction or enthusiasm. So food is something which is there, which is making you. So again, that food is got the 5 elements, which are kind of helping nurture the 5 elements in your body. So you are literally what you eat in that sense. And the question is about food is, when should we eat? That is the real question that we should be asking. Like, one, when we have a proper sensation for hunger, or we have a proper sensation for thirst, that is the time when we are supposed to eat, and not because, oh, the clock says it is 12 o'clock, I need to go and eat my food. No. So that is the first and foremost thing. You have to listen to yourself, listen to your body. Your body is saying, I am actually thirsty and I'm not hungry, drink. But when your body says, I'm hungry, then you really need to eat your food at that point of time. The other aspect which I mentioned was that you kind of have to have a normal bowel movement. All of those things need to be in normal equilibrium. So you have to have a good bowel movement. You kind of have to pass your wind, or your stomach should be light. You should have that enthusiasm, that energy should be there, that lightness should be there in the body. That would be the right time to have your food. If you are kind of feeling heavy in the stomach, but okay, it is just time to eat and I'll eat my meal, you're actually not helping your system. So that is the key that you have to kind of stick by. Again, as per Ayurveda, how much food needs to be taken? That is another question that a lot of people do ask me. So food that you need to have would be, if you kind of imagine your stomach to be like a ball, half of it would be food, a quarter of it would be fluid. It could be anything. It could be water, it could be soups, or something, that any liquid. It could be buttermilk or something like that. So it could be a liquid, whatever it is. Another quarter of it needs to be empty. It really needs to be empty. That is the key. If you stick by it, I guarantee you won't put on weight. But a lot of people struggle to do that. Why I tell you is, I'll explain it to you in a very practical thing. If you've got a mixer jar or something, and you have filled half of it with the food, you've filled quarter of it with water, and you have left the quarter empty, then you will get a good mix out of it. Then whatever you want to blend will be blended properly. But as opposed to that, if you kind of stuff it right to the top, no matter what you do, you are not going to be able to blend it properly. So that will be the question for you, that how much food, this is this. People will ask me, but how will I understand that how much food do I need? So I said, okay, fine. In your plate, there is something where, okay, you've got 4 chapatis and you think that after eating the fourth chapati, you will be stuffed till this point. Stop. You need to stop at probably 3. So you need to have that much in your plate, that if that quarter portion goes in, then you will be stuffed. So that is the point where you will kind of have to stop. So that is the first and foremost of how much to eat. Next is the right method of eating. You need to have food that is freshly made. I know in the modern world, people do ask me how and where do you find the time to cook and all that. But we need to understand that everything that we are doing in life, at the end of the day, we are doing it for food on our plate. So if we cannot find the time to enjoy that meal, then probably we need to rethink our values and rethink our lifestyle and maybe work around it. So that is the first thing. Next is that hot, freshly made food. It has to be unctuous. It should not be something which is too dry. It has to have the right amount of fats in it, like be it oil, be it ghee. It has to have that right amount of fat as well, because that is also necessary. If you kind of look at a bonfire, if we keep on adding the ghee, then it burns nicely. If that element is missing, then it will not burn as much. So you need to have the right amount of it. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going off fats and all that because of cholesterol or because of many other reasons. But the key is that having it in the right balance, not overdoing it. You need everything in equilibrium. You need everything in the right proportion. So that is important. Another thing is the place that you eat your food, the vessels and everything that the food is cooked in has to be desirable. If you're going to have a food where you are not happy, or if it is an unpleasant surrounding, then it is going to have an impact on your mind. And ultimately, whatever you eat, your mind will not be satisfied with that. The next thing that we say is don't eat in too much of hurry, but at the same time, don't eat too slowly as well. Like you will have the television going on and you will have like one spoon gone, and then you will be like thinking, waiting, looking. and then you have the next bite, that is not going to help you. So with concentration and after proper analysis of how you are at that point, that is when you need to have your food. If you're going to have food like in a hurry or in worried state of mind, it is not helping you. Um, a lot of people have food at the desk, and that doesn't really help you. You kind of have to get away from that surrounding, get away from the setup, come down, enjoy your meal in the right place. That is very important. A lot of people are like at the desk, they will have food where you can see your work, you know that that deadline is going, and your mind is literally at that point, and you're not even processing what you are eating. You're not even able to taste the food that you are eating. So that does not help you. So being present, whether it is a small quantity or a huge quantity, but being present 100% is really important at that point.
Sure.
So yeah.
Thanks, Khyati, because we only have like a few minutes left. So I'm going to just fit in a couple more questions as much as I can for now. But for people who are on Zoom, we will continue with the questions afterwards. And there are loads of questions you have asked. We will also answer those questions as well. So I have to pick and choose because it's just literally 10 minutes left or even less than that. So you mentioned the concept of Agni loosely as digestive fire. Can you elaborate its impact with some examples? Might be just one example because we are running against time.
Yeah, so Agni, as I mentioned, is the digestive fire, or the fire that is there in different aspects. It is the fire that is helping you with the change in the system. So you have to, what really works or what is important for Agni to be in balance is important is that the food, the general behavior of a person, and your mind, all of this plays an important role on your Agni. So all that we have discussed before, like following a routine, your daily routine, your seasonal routine. Second is listening to the body, being in sync with it. Next is following the ahar vidhi, like kind of what type of food to have, when to have, how to have, all of that will be there. Eating only when you are hungry or an irregular pattern will not help you. Again, depending on like the nature and quality of the food is important. The process in which you are making the food is important. Like a quickly cooked food will have that impact on your system. So you will have people who have like heartburns and all. And when you go into the back history of that person, you will find that, okay, this person is probably eating the food too fast, or eating too spicy food, or eating food that is really cooked on a high flame. All of that has an impact on your system. Again, the time is important. So as I mentioned, you should be hungry. The other aspect is also important. So you do not have to have food after you have kind of the time is gone. If you are hungry at say 12 o'clock, but you don't have the time to eat your food, and you end up having your food at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, then it is as good as putting that food on a flame which is literally dead. So then your food is not digested, and that will have an impact on your system. Another concept which is there in Ayurveda, which is called as the Viruddha Ahar, or conflicting food combinations. It's like milk and fruits. They don't go well as per Ayurveda, because the way it is that it will cause an imbalance in the doshas. So it's like if you have it on a regular basis, then you will see the impact of that on your system in various ways. You could have simple heartburn, or you could have skin conditions and all of that. So those would be the things that is important in that.
So next one is, being an ambassador for women empowerment myself, I'm curious to know about the wellness for women. Give us a few pointers for women's health, please.
So as in women, we go through different stages in life. And so it will be like a child, an adolescent, a mature and older woman. So depending on which stage of life you are, we are blessed. I will definitely say the word blessed, because with the womb, because that gives us the nature has given us with the capacity to nurture and care for. And for that, we need to take care of ourselves. So depending on where you are at what stage, Ayurveda has given us different code of conducts. It will be like a paricharya point. So one is like your menstrual code of conduct. When you are menstruating, how you need to behave and what care needs to be taken. Then you have the second phase where you are pregnancy. So a garbhini paricharya, like how you need to take care of yourself when you are in your pregnancy. And third, and the most important, I will say, is the Sutika Paricharya. Once you have given birth, that is the phase where you kind of need to take care of yourself so that you have you come back to your normal self. Taking care at that point is really important. Otherwise, you will have a lot of women who will have a lot of complications later on in life. Out of the three, although the pregnancy and Sutika, I mean, the postnatal care is important, the one which I would like to focus on is your menstrual care, because that is like your longest out of your life. And how you need to take care of yourself when you are on your menstrual cycle, and other than when you are other than when you are menstruating. There are two phases to that. So it is very important. And lately you have seen that a lot of people, even in the adverts and all that, the mental outlook of a person has changed. That so what if you are menstruating? You can do X, Y, Z. Your body is not meant to be like that. When you are on your menstrual cycle, you kind of need to respect that, because it in a way is a cleanse that is happening through your system, and you need to kind of slow down and let that process take place. You kind of have to take a step back, internalize, think about yourself, focus on yourself, give yourself that time, and eat food which is light, easy to digest. Not do too much of exercise and too much of nowadays I find people, in fact I was kind of shocked to see people running through when even on their menstruation, and not just running, they're even doing a marathon during that. Unfortunately, the consequences of that particular thing will be seen later on in life. You may not see it immediately, but that is there. You will find that over a period of time your cycle will be impacted. So having a good, normal, natural cycle will have a positive impact on the women in their life. So you will find that if you have a good menstrual cycle, your body will be much more robust and take care of yourself well. So taking care during that is quite important.
Can you give quickly 5 takeaway tips for the audience, what they can take home about Ayurveda? And I know a lot of people have been asking about your clinic's name in the chat. So if you can mention that, obviously for people who are on the Zoom, please hold on. You will have ample amount of time to ask your questions. I will put all your questions. I have already 15, 20 questions coming through to me. I think I will put all those questions to Khyati. Hold on. But in the benefit of people who are listening on the Facebook, can you give the 5 important tips, takeaways for the audience, and also your clinic name, please?
Yeah, sure. So it is called a Shashwat Ayurveda. And the takeaway from today's talk, I will say, is take care of yourself. And for that, Abhyanga, incorporate it in your lifestyle and you will reap the benefits of it. The second thing would be conscious of everything that is there. Like, be present and be conscious. Listen to your body and act accordingly. Every day will be different. So you have to listen to your body daily, be present, and take that step accordingly. Third is definitely, if you are, I mentioned about the natural urges. You have to listen to your body and not hold on to those urges which need to. So lately, I'll just give a short example. I have seen a lot of people, because of obviously the COVID situation and all, and when you are in public, you try and avoid sneezing and coughing and all that. But those are natural urges which need to come out of the system. Unfortunately, you have to let it out. If you do not, I have seen people having headaches and having just the whole head, ears, pain, a lot of things will come up with that, but that is something which needs to be taken care of. The other thing is change is there. We have to adapt to the change. The fact that we are living means we are changing every single minute, every single second. So how we adapt to that change is really important.
Thank you, Khyati. I know we have a lot more
I
to
have
listen
a
from.
small case if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay, so why I'm emphasizing on the fact about the natural urges is a few years back. This was when I was back in India and I was treating a child. Um, it was a 7-year-old child. I remember very well. He was in standard second in back then. So he came to me, and his parents said that he had to be hospitalized because he couldn't pass his urine. And when we went back into the history of that child, I just realized that, okay, he has, because he gets up late, he does not have the time in the morning to go to the toilet or do any of his routines. And he literally rushes himself. Like, he will have only half an hour from the time he gets up to the time he reaches school, half an hour to 45 minutes. And in that also the travel time is included. So he would like quickly just brush. I don't know how he would even brush and all that, but he would brush, get dressed up, and probably have his breakfast and move off. So there was not enough time for him to kind of defecate or just do all of the natural processes that you would do in that point of time. And that had been his routine. And because of that, it was impacting everywhere. The other aspect of it was he wouldn't even go to the like to defecate in school. He would only urinate in school, but he would not defecate in school because he wasn't comfortable, or what, that was the factor that was there. So over a period of time, because he had that habit of holding on to it, even when he wanted to pass his toilet, he developed a condition wherein his urine also started stopping because of that. He couldn't pass it naturally. So when going through the history, going through the whole thing, when we understood his, I sat the child down, because at 7 I thought he was old enough to understand the consequences of what he's doing. I sat him down. I explained him that he needs to kind of take care of all of that. He needs to understand, give himself that time to get up early in the morning, give him time to kind of pass a motion, pass his urine, have a good breakfast. After having breakfast, not run straight away, give yourself that time and then go walk to school. So that small change, obviously I did give him medicines at that point of time, but he had to be hospitalized 2 times before he came to me. And after that, after changing all of that, his routine and everything, slowly he came to a point where he started defecating in the morning, and he could do his regular routine, natural, normal things in the morning and go to school. And just by those small little changes incorporated in his routine, everything was taken care of. And he did not definitely come to me for that same condition after that. And it's been many years after that. So definitely he did not come for that. So that's the reason, that one small thing, and it is a major reason for constipation in a lot of people that I see nowadays. So it's just the urge to pass wind, or the urge to defecate, or the urge to go to the toilet. Naturally, it happens. You do not stop it. If you do it on one odd occasion, it is fine. But if it is something which is going on for like a routine, then you need to take care of that. You need to address it. So that is definitely something which I believe Ayurveda has given, which needs to be thought about.
Sure. Thank you so much, Khyati. It has been very comprehensive, and I'm sure our audience has learned a lot. Of course, we will come back to people's questions, and one particular question I skipped myself because of shortage of time. So we will come back to all those things. But a massive thank you for giving us so much wisdom about Ayurveda and how when incorporated, it will benefit our health. So next week, on the 7th of November 2021 at 2 o'clock British time. But please take note, for people who are in India and Sri Lanka, it will be at 7:30 in the evening, because the British time has changed. We have gone back on the clock. And for people who are in Canada and America as well, who have been asking this morning, you will be benefited with another hour of sleep before you join us as well. Next week, we are going to be inviting you to celebrate Diwali by networking together with us. So you can bring along a glass of wine or a mug of tea with nibbles or coffee, and let us raise a glass and celebrate Diwali next week. Our promise to you is we will keep quiet for the next week, and we will listen to you, what you have to say about the good things, the suggestions, the feedbacks, what you would want us to change. And that would be your time to talk and network next week. Really looking forward to celebrating Diwali with all of you. Dress up, dress up. Please do come and celebrate the Diwali with us. Now, I am handing over to Raj Madhavan to give the vote of thanks.
So thank you, Menaca. This is a very powerful presentation, Ms. Khyati Chheda.
Thank you.
I'm Raj Madhavan, connecting from Canada. Today, on behalf of Meet Menaca Celebrating Team, I have the honor and the privilege of presenting the vote of thanks to Ms. Khyati Chheda. Obviously, I have learned a lot of things today, which I never knew before. My goodness, tons of information. And also I have seen many were taking notes with notepad and pen or pencil, which I have not seen before that much. And also, according to Khyati's statement, Ayurveda is a lifelong learning. Every time it gives us different perspective. This statement is very powerful and should not be underestimated. That's what I would like to repeat this. This statement should not be underestimated. Although a lot of information about Khyati was told at the beginning of the show by our host, Menaca, I would like to re-emphasize a statement re-emphasize the success story achieved by Khyati. With the help of Ayurveda, Ms. Khyati has treated many health issues, including allergies, skin conditions, asthma, autism, musculoskeletal conditions, infertility, menstrual and menopausal difficulties. And also Ms. Khyati is also focusing on increasing health awareness in women. I would like to repeat this again. That's what I did it. On behalf of Ms. Menaca celebrating team, my sincere thanks to Ms. Khyati Chheda for taking your time, coming to our show and presenting an amazing talk on role of Ayurveda in well-being. My other next thanks to go to all our viewers signing through via Facebook and Zoom to watch the Meet Menaca celebrating talk shows. Many of you are repeated viewers coming on every week after week. Without your support, it wouldn't be possible to have successful shows for the last 63 weeks. Today we are on episode number 64. You all are the reason for our success. And also using this opportunity, I would like to thank the Meet Menaca celebrating team for their tireless efforts in bringing a show on a weekly basis. Our shows are geared for personal development, to understand human and relationship issues, and human and more specifically, women empowerment and so on. Thank you again, Ms. Khyati, Komil, Chheda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raj. And thank you, Khyati, once again. And for people who are on Facebook and people who are on the Zoom, a massive thank you. Like Raj said, without you, this show wouldn't have been able to go on for this long. So thank you so much. For people who send me messages, send me emails asking when is the next show going to be added on the YouTube, please subscribe. Hit that bell icon next to the channel, and that will make life easier for you because it will send you a notification saying that the video has been added. And it will also help us to spread the messages far and wide. So thank you for supporting us so far. For people who are listening to us on Facebook, we are hoping you will join us with your cup of coffees, teas, and wines to celebrate Diwali. Until then, it has come to the time to say goodbye. Till we see you next time, stay safe, be happy, and keep smiling.